Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist. I am Mr. Parkin. This guy sitting next to me is very cool. It's none other than NJ.
What's up?
If you want to ask us any questions, please put them down in the comment section below. And we're going to answer first question from Jimmy Edaparul. What are your thoughts on Matt Hardy versus EC3 in a last man standing match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? Now, if there is a last man standing match in TNA for the World Heavyweight Championship and no one cares about it, did it happen? TJ Rules. Hey British Fist, just letting you know I put you guys in my YWC Royal Rumble on my channel. It's all good. It's all for fun and you can check it out if you want to. A little bit late now, but I hope we won. That's all I can say. What number were we? Tell us down below. Kid of Wrestling. How's it going? Who do you think will be pushed in 2016? I mean, Roman Reigns, obviously. Other than that, I'd hope Dean Ambrose gets some kind of a push.
Well, you know, I'm so buzzed about did we win the Rumble. I'm so excited. I said this at the end of 2015. The one person I would like this to be the year of is Kevin Owens. I want this to be the year of Owens. That's what I want, but you know, it's going to be Reigns because they're not going to give up with him, but I want it to be the year of Owens.
Robert Hernandez. What do you think of AJ Styles debuting in the Royal Rumble and going straight to Raw instead of NXT like Samoa Joe, Aries, Finn Balor and others? I didn't really have too much of a problem with that because I think AJ is quite a well-known name in the wrestling business. And you know, the way you had him debut, you couldn't just have him go down to NXT. You know, the way you had him debut, you kind of had to have him on Raw the next week, really, didn't you? You couldn't just relegate him to NXT after being in the Royal Rumble as long as he was.
As much as that would be my answer if I was answering it as a fan, but I'm going to be answering it from AJ Styles, or my opinion of AJ Styles' answer. He was offered to join WWE for quite some time, but kept turning it down. So something had to draw him in. If he didn't feel happy or he was going to benefit joining NXT, yeah, Vince is going to offer him something that's going to actually bring him in. And if it's straight to the main roster, straight to the Rumble, then Vince is going to offer that, AJ is going to accept. That's what I think was why he skipped NXT.
What if a new heel faction in WWE was Samoa Joe as the leader, with Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, Cesaro, and Tyson Kidd? I wouldn't have Samoa Joe as a leader over Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens because Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens are a lot better known to the WWE roster, to the WWE public, to the WWE universe, so they'd definitely be better off as leaders of the group because people know about them a little bit more. Whereas I think Samoa Joe could definitely play that enforcer role very well if he was going to be in a faction.
As much as I would have Kevin Owens on the mic because I love his promos, it's another faction, and
yeah,
as much as it is, you know, an idea, and I would love to have Owens on the mic doing all that work, I don't think a faction, whoever's in it, is needed.
Yeah, we just don't need a faction. We just don't need any at the moment. If you could change one storyline in WWE, what would it be and how would you fix it?
There's quite a few, I think, mainly evolve around Cena, because obviously you get bed Cena, that's the end, you know. So I think most of his WrestleMania or the final match of the feud against Cena, that's just me thinking that, because we complain about how the push of wrestlers end at Cena.
I mean, if we're talking currently, I'd change this whole Shane McMahon fucking Vince storyline. I just don't get it. Yeah, so yeah, Dad, you owe me this part of the company. Oh yeah, well you can face the Undertaker. Who hasn't agreed to this match? You know, I've just come back. I've just come back and yeah, well. Yeah, I know Vince McMahon is Undertaker's boss and everything, and maybe from a storyline standpoint he can make him wrestle, but yeah, he's not agreed to the match or anything.
By now he might have.
You know, we're putting all this shit on the line, you know, out of fucking nowhere, and Shane McMahon's just come back. No WrestleMania for me this year, sorry, which is why I'm not too fussed about this next question. What if this was our card for WrestleMania 32? In brackets, my card if no one was in.
One at a time. Okay.
20-man Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Why
not?
not?
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have that. Don't know. I mean, who would win? I don't know.
I will say this about the Andre thing. I still personally have kept it as a one-off special battle royal, but you know, it's a way of getting wrestlers who have not really been booked in a match.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the IC Championship. I mean, I understand people may want to see this match, and they've had a storyline in NXT, fair enough, but bringing it to the main roster, would it necessarily work? Sami Zayn hasn't really been built up for the WWE audience, so I don't think I would go with Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the IC Championship. At WrestleMania as well, this is where you want your biggest matches. I mean, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn for the IC Championship isn't WrestleMania worthy. I'm sorry, it's NXT main event worthy, but it's not at the moment. It's not at this moment in time. The way these two characters have been built, it's not WrestleMania worthy. I'm sorry.
A few things about this: the WWE are not really going to acknowledge why these two would make such a big match. They're not really going to acknowledge what they did in other companies. They may mention that these two have had a big story in the past, but they're not really going to acknowledge it as fully as they should. And with Sami Zayn not really involved in the WWE on TV as of yet, I know WrestleMania is still weeks away, but you've got to establish Sami Zayn to be ready to go to WrestleMania, to have that match when Owens, like I've said, I think because of what he's done in his time in the WWE, he should be in a bigger match.
New Day versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd for the tag team championships. Again, it's not WrestleMania worthy. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to go to that because obviously it's your opinion, it's your match. But again, as much as I would like to see Tyson Kidd back in the WWE, he was entertaining. They were a good tag team. We need something that's going to go bam. Tag team championship match, a match you wouldn't really expect to see happen here, and I don't think this match is it.
I mean, I think if you're going to do a tag title match, you need to do a multi-team match to really make it stand out from the card. I think that just a tag team on tag team match, especially with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, even if they weren't injured, just no. Kalisto versus Sin Cara for the United States Championship. I mean, it could be one of those matches where you do this, to try and make people wear the masks and to try and break that record of, wearing the most masks in an arena or whatever. So, I mean, I could see the reason for this match, even though, I mean, they've been former tag team partners. You could build a storyline there. But again, it doesn't scream to me WrestleMania worthy.
I think because there's not been a tease of them breaking up or wanting to see who the better lucha wrestler is. I think it'd be like thrown there just to have a US title match. So I think keep them as a tag team because people like the lucha-ish style wrestling for them, and have Kalisto against someone else for the US Championship.
Finn Balor versus Hideo Itami for the NXT Championship. I understand you may think it adds credit for the NXT stars, but you want to be saving WrestleMania for your biggest matches, and I'm sorry, but an NXT Championship isn't going to be one of those big matches. It just shouldn't be there. NXT is a totally different brand.
I've said this so many times, and I think
in the pre-show maybe,
that's
but
what
not on the main card. I'm sorry, not on the main card.
I wouldn't do an NXT every pay-per-view, but for WrestleMania, when you want the whole pay-per-view as a whole to feel big, having an NXT Championship on the pre-show to WrestleMania would make it a bigger deal than normal pre-show. So that's what I would do.
Roman versus John Cena. The first match which you put on here that I think would be WrestleMania worthy. I mean, obviously John Cena is injured at the moment, but Roman Reigns versus John Cena would be a match that I think a lot of people would want to see. I think it would be a logical match to have at a future WrestleMania, with them being like the top two baby faces at the moment. So yeah, that's a match I could see happening at WrestleMania.
I think with the way of Roman Reigns overcoming so many different names, I think John Cena stepping in to try and get Reigns over, because you've seen in the past, whoever plays John Cena gets cheered, and that's what you really want from Roman Reigns. There you
go. Undertaker versus Sting. In a match, it's not going to happen, but a match that I think would have been quite suitable for The Undertaker. at a WrestleMania. I mean, to be honest, this year, I mean, what other? I mean, let's just rule out Shane McMahon because he's not a legit opponent. The Undertaker, I'm sorry, he's just not. What other people could you see that have been built up to face a guy like the Undertaker at WrestleMania, who's not injured? And the simple answer is no one.
Shane was a joke.
Well, exactly. No one's been built up to actually be able to face Undertaker. So, you know, that's why I'm saying Undertaker versus Sting would at least be a match that people would have wanted to have seen because of the history.
I look at this, and I've said this multiple times, it still stands. I am caring less about Taker's WrestleMania involvement now.
Yeah.
So to have Sting, I think instead of stretching out, I know it's money, I know Taker is WrestleMania in a way, but instead of stretching this whole trying to make fans like me care for Undertaker's involvement at WrestleMania, I would have had him against Sting, but as a way to finish.
Yeah, definitely. Seth versus Dean for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, with the main event being Brock versus Rock. The main event, Brock versus Rock, yeah, that would sell tickets. That would definitely sell tickets. You know, Rock isn't going to wrestle, but that would be a match that I think could main event at WrestleMania. As for Seth versus Dean, I mean, how many times have we seen it?
Well, with Rock and Brock, I think they need to step up from SummerSlam, and I think it's a match that fans will be on either side to go for it. Seth versus Dean, again, I still feel Seth versus Reigns didn't really get that finale. But as for Ambrose, I think Ambrose has beaten Seth in the past, but to see if Ambrose can do it at WrestleMania, and whoever the heel at the time the faces, I still think it would be a good match.
But I mean, it's for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You're the top belt in the company at the top event of the year that was going to semi-main event Brock versus Rock, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Yeah, that has a certain ring to it, doesn't it? Only if you're an internet fan that loves fucking in-ring work. It's just not, no. Seth versus Dean in the semi-main event wouldn't work. I'm sorry, no. Aaron Crace, do you think Andre the Giant should have beaten Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3? No, because then we wouldn't have the history. You know, if Andre the Giant had beaten Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3, we'd be talking about it in a totally different light right now. And I don't think things would have gone the way they would have done if Andre the Giant did beat Hulk Hogan. I mean, the whole thing about that was, you know, especially at the big events, genuinely the baby faces go over. Because that's where the culmination of these feuds generally happen.
And I've said this before, even back in the WWF time, every wrestler needs their defining moment or their moment, and that slam, even now, is still a pretty big deal, which gave it to Hogan for doing it. That was his moment. I think if that still happened, but he didn't finish the match, maybe that slam wouldn't be as big as it is today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like, how many times have we seen them try and replicate that? You know, Kane slamming, was it Great Khali at WrestleMania 23 or something? And then you had Cesaro doing the same move to Big Show outside the ring to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is pretty iconic in a way. So, you know, how many times have we seen that replayed? And, you know, it would just different image in history if that didn't happen. Would you like to see Sister Abigail in WWE? I mean, how many people do we need in this Wyatt family? That's what I want to know. I mean, why not? I mean, you know, why not introduce a Sister Abigail into the family if you get rid of the other fucks?
My biggest problem with that is that, yes, there's been rumours of who it could be, which is a pretty big deal for fans. But I'm going to say no. I think the whole Sister Abigail thing has come and gone. I think Bray's been mentioning her in the past, and there's been a lot of talk about her and him talking to her and stuff. I think now, because of how things have developed and changed, they've changed the Wyatt family. I don't think the Sister Abigail is the important thing in people's mind when they think of the Wyatt family anymore.
No.
So for me, I think time has come and gone.
Yeah, if you could change a WrestleMania storyline or match, what will it be? Mine would probably be the streak. Don't end the streak at WrestleMania 30. Instead, have the last Undertaker match be against Triple H at WrestleMania 28, and that would have been a great way to end the whole end of an era thing.
I think the end of an era thing, Taker and Brock was a pretty sour thing even now. But then again, I can name most of John Cena's recent WrestleMania matches. Not Bray, because even if he did beat Bray, even if he did beat Cena, I still don't think Bray would have grew from that because I feel the WWE would have still ran out of ideas for him. But other opponents that Cena's faced at WrestleMania recently.
What NXT tag team should WWE call as the main roster? Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. It's very simple. I mean, they're the main people that you want to be calling us the main roster at the moment. There are lots of tag teams in NXT. I think the only team that are ready right now are Enzo and Cass. That's all I'll say. James Thomas, who should induct Sting into the WWE Hall of Fame? Probably Ric Flair. They have a lot of history with WCW, so I think Ric Flair.
I'm gonna just quote what Triple H has said in the past. I'm gonna say because Triple H thinks it can happen again, Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hogan and Sting have history as well. That could work, but I mean, Ric Flair and Sting wrestled the last match on Nitro. Ric Flair made Sting what he is now, back in the late '80s at the NWA in the NWA days. So I think that it should be Ric Flair personally, but Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan, either one of them would be perfect really for that role. We're going to answer some questions from Paul Erickson Alejandrino. What are your thoughts on AJ Styles debuting in the Royal Rumble?
I still think it was a big way. Yes, we weren't expecting to win, but I think him being in the Rumble, gave AJ a chance to do his kind of style of wrestling, and it was a big match to debut a big guy in the world of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, did he come out number 2? Or number 3?
A bit later.
I mean, I think he came out at number 3. He lasted quite a long time in the Rumble. And yeah, I thought the way they did it, and it was a legit surprise. I mean, there was a few people that were predicting he would be in the Royal Rumble, but no one really knew for sure. So the way they had him come out to quite a surprise, I thought that it was a good way of debuting him in the Royal Rumble and a good way of introducing the WWE Universe to the AJ Styles character. I can't have any complaints about that. So what are your thoughts on Triple H winning the world title at the Royal Rumble?
Different opinions, I think.
Well, I mean, I think at the end of the day, they needed someone with a name to actually hold the title going into WrestleMania so they could sell tickets in the same way that they had The Rock as a part-timer win the WWE Championship. So that's my thoughts from my perspective on Triple H winning the world title at the Royal Rumble.
My answer is because we knew, because the WWE is a bit predictable, that we were going to get Reigns and Triple H at WrestleMania. I think having Triple H be champion, yes, you don't really need the championship involved in this feud, but I think having Triple H doing it to prevent Roman Reigns from becoming champion, to build the WrestleMania match, in my opinion, has made it a big deal, because it's going to be the championship match. It's going to be the whole year and a half wrapped around to this. So,
your favorite Daniel Bryan match? It can be indie or WWE. Your favorite? I mean, it has to be the 2 matches he had at WrestleMania 30. I think they're the standout matches, in my opinion.
There's been some against Dolph Ziggler which I've complimented, in the past when they were in the mid-card US IC kind of time, bragging rights, I think.
Yeah, it was bragging rights, but then they wrestled about 5 times after that in 5 weeks, and it just kind of went numb. But, the matches against Triple H, you only seen that once. Then Batista Orton, you've only seen that once. They're the 2 best matches, favourite matches that he's been in my opinion, just because of what it led to and the way the storyline was built to. It was by far the best storyline WWE have done, which was created by the fans in the last 3 or 4 years.
I think because of how fans were wanting it so much. I'm not sure it's the first one, but when Bryan faced Punk, I felt because of fans wanting that so
Over the
much.
Limit. Yeah, Over the Limit 2012. I remember that match being okay, but the storyline with AJ Lee...
No, AJ Lee minus her, but I think them two in the match they produced.
Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a breaking of the mold. Like, them two were the first sort of 2 indie guys that really made it in WWE. So they that's one of the reasons why people like Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and Finn Balor and people like that have come in simply because of the way the success that Daniel Bryan and CM Punk have had from going from an independent scene guy to being a WWE guy. So they've kind of set up the next generation of indie guys, really, to come into WWE. You can see that as a good or a bad thing. Your reaction to Daniel Bryan's retirement, very sad, but also happy in a way that he still has his health. And they pinpointed out the concussion or what was wrong with his brain. And I'm just glad he's going to live a full life.
That is pretty much echoing what I'm going to say, but at the same time, the fact that WWE announced it going into Raw gave us time to accept it, and the way that he spoke to the fans, it's going to be sad because of how over Bryan was, and the WWE needed that over guy there, but at the same time, there was so much behind Bryan's reasoning and the WWE's reasoning for him to retire, which made perfect sense and the best thing for the WWE and for Bryan, because it wouldn't have been right making Bryan continue wrestling when so much was going on.
Do you think Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson will join WWE? I mean, we heard that they rejected contracts in TNA to go to WWE. We're not really sure what's going on, when they're going to join or when their contract with New Japan finishes. So the jury is still out on that, but it does look like they are going to join the WWE, along with, of course, AJ Styles and Shinji Nakamura as well. So that's what it looks like. They're just sort of like the two that we're not too sure about.
I think when Big Cass and Enzo come to the WWE, we may need a biggish tag team name or someone to replace them. So to come to the WWE to have all the names together, okay, but to come to NXT, yeah.
What are your thoughts on WWE suspending Titus O'Neil? Oh,
this is going to be the wrap-up part.
Yeah, this is going to be the wrap-up. I mean, it depends. I suppose it depends how you look at it. I mean, at the end of the day, Titus O'Neil pulled Vince McMahon's arm. And when you think about that, you think about if you pulled the boss's arm at work, you probably would get fired. But but it does seem like something really stupid. But my whole thing is why is he even doing it? But even though he's done it, I still think that punishment is really, really harsh. I mean, he could have gone and smoked weed and got banned for less days. I mean, it's kind of stupid, but at the same time, why did he even do it?
Thing is, that is people's excuse. If we did it to our boss, the same thing would have happened. We would have got suspended or fired. But at the same time, in the WWE, when he was doing it for a joke at what was happening to be a sad time, you had Stephanie seen as a joke, you had some of the WWE wrestlers seen as a joke, and for Vince to probably have gone backstage, had a one-on-one chat with him, and still suspended him instead of doing some kind of other punishment if he really needed to be punished for that action. I'm going to stick by it. I think Vince is a fool for what he's done, especially when Titus was becoming over. Now, I'm not saying to restart it when he comes back, if he comes back. I just think the whole thing, Vince was taking it a bit too far.
I think that the answer really here is that I think they dealt with it in the wrong way, and they're getting a lot of negative PR from it as well, which I think they deserve. So that's our opinions on that. And of course, we're not going to go into the whole racism thing because I just don't see the point in going into that because people are going to have their views on it, and whether or not you choose to believe it is your prerogative. So there we go. But if you have any more questions, please ask us comment section.
And thank you very much for watching. I enjoy being a part of this video with Mr. Parkin. Hopefully you enjoy being a part of this video with the British Fist. Thank you very much for watching. I've enjoyed my time with you. Hopefully you've enjoyed your time with us. Till next time, you YouTubers. I look forward to seeing what questions you put in the comment section below. And goodbye.